Tony here, our cabin in the woods. What I'm going to start on today is I'm waiting on the guy to come auger my poles for my awning for the camper, start building on that. But I do need to start washing the home, and it takes a special way of doing it. Really does. I mean, you can kind of look and you can kind of, it's like dull looking, and a lot of that dull looking is the dirt that's really on it, and you can kind of see right there it's dirt and dusty. The goal is you're supposed to wash it in the spring and fall. And what happens is when you have dirt on your house, where the dirt sets and where the moisture, well, we don't get rain on the house here, so it's not as bad because I've got this large overhang, 6-foot overhangs. Actually, it's almost 8 foot, but it's 6 foot from here to here. Then there's another 18 inches, I think, from here to there. So almost 8 foot overhangs, which is great because it's shade and everything. But when it rains, it gets moisture out and everything, water can sit on the logs. It can set up right on the top edge of the logs. On every log, that's where this dirtiest point is. And what happens is when moisture sets up on that, and eventually it can build up to become mold. And you don't want that. You don't want mold spores on your wood. So what today's goal is basically we're going to wash the house. And after I wash the house, then I'm supposed to wait about 24 hours. I can tell by looking at the log. I don't have a humidity tester, but I can tell the way the logs are. After I wash the house, I'm only going to do one side at a time. You do what you can handle, so it's clean when you put your new clear on. Because after I wash it, I got to put clear on the house. That's supposed to be the final coat for several years, but I like to do it more often than not. I mean, it's cheap enough to do it, and it's real easy. So, but that's what we're going to do. And the process that is you're not supposed to use a pressure washer. The reason is when you really hammer down, you get real close with a pressure washer. When you're basically washing a home like I'm going to, you don't want to remove that finish that's there. You want to remove that color, that stain, or even the clear, because there is a clear on here. But when you're really washing it, what happens is if you've ever taken a pressure washer on wood, you get close enough, it becomes real furry. And you're breaking the seal that the wood has. You're opening up pores. I forgot what they're called, but anyway, and you really not supposed to stain on top of that unless you sand the wood down again. So I can't remember what it is. I think 600 pounds per square inch, and you're supposed to stand back like 4 feet or 5 feet. Now, of course, my pressure washer is a lot bigger than that. I got 2,700 pounds. But what I'll be doing is I'll be spraying it from over here, getting it wet. In the process, you get everything all wet. Get everything wet, and then I'm going to add the soap to it, and then soap the whole thing down. And then what you're going to do is use a brush. You're going to brush it all down really good, clean it up really good, and then you're going to hose it off. You just want to get it really washed off clean good. I'm also going to clean up all this trim, because that is due for its last coat also, and then that coat should last about 8 years. Under the porches. Now the eaves on the house, all around those eaves and all that, you get more sunlight. You're gonna, like this here, this spot right here, but on the back front side, you're gonna want to do that more often. But really in the railings too, I mean, they need their last coat. You can see they look dirty, look old, and they need it. So our goal today is I'm gonna go ahead and wash this side of the house, and I'm gonna go ahead and rinse down the railings. You don't need a wash on that. This is cedar. It's open pores. You kind of see how that's real rough right here. Well, it kind of if you hit your pressure washer on that house, it will do the same thing. In my old log home, the person that did that, he sandblasted the house and left it really rough. And I spent years sanding it, getting it down to where I can even stain it. I mean, you go 6 months and it turns color, so you have to wash it again. It was a heck of a process, and but anyway, the old home looked as good as this one did when I sold it. But this one here is brand new. Well, it'll be 4 years old here. It's maybe 4 years old now. Anyway, but we're going to wash it today. This is the north side. We're going to get it washed and rinse it down really good. prepare, and then if it's dry enough tomorrow, I will be putting a clear on it. So anyway, let me go ahead and get the pressure washer going, and we'll go back from there. Alright, as you can tell, I have tinted just now. It's all wet. It's on. I just rinsed the house. What I've got now on just this one side, it's all rinsed down. A lot of dirt come flying off. But now what I'm going to do is add soap to the pressure washer, and I'm going to soap down this whole side of the house. And then once the house is all soaped down really good, then I'm going to take the brush, that soft, real soft bristle brush right there. I even washed down the railings, and but no soap on the railings, just gonna knock the dirt off it. But I'm gonna take the brush from the house, all the log, everything, and then I'll rinse it off with the pressure washer, and then we are gonna be done. I'll probably go ahead and rinse the railings down one more time on this side. Like I said, I'm gonna do one side of the house at a time. Hopefully within 2 days I'm clearing this side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do all the dark stain one side at a time. Weather here in Oklahoma changes so much. It could be super nice. We may not get rain for a long time, for a month, and then one day when I'm ready to stain and it rains and I got a problem. So I can only just stick with what you can get done. I know I can clear this side, and I know I could probably get all the clearing can be done, and then the trimming around the windows can be finished, and I would probably be pretty much starting on the railings, getting that all done. So anyway, let's go ahead and start the generator up. Let me get this set up, and we will go ahead and start soaping the house down, and we'll go from there. Well, I'm not going to use the soap around the pressure washer, or something's wrong with it. It's not working, the valve won't open. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do this another way with this pump up spray bottle, and then spray the house down. So we will need to go get the stuff gathered up, and we'll get back at it. Alright, I try to find my pressure washer, my big one, and I can't, my pump up one. So I've got to use this one. But what we're going to do is we are just spraying all the woodwork all the way down. But because this, I know what I've got to do. I got to work quick, and really you need to have it sit on here for between 10 and 15 minutes. This is a special wash for logs, and I get it right from the company. The chemicals I use are from Permachink. That's who I bought all my stuff right through my log company. But that's the chemicals that I've used on this house and on my other homes. I love the stain. I like the clear. I've used another one that's out there that's really good, I thought, and I did that with my other house. And I just said that I'm going to go back to Permachink, and I'm glad I did. You basically you would clean your logs before you stain it. And then you add a chemical to it that's, I think it's called a boracite or something, and it's strictly for insects, so they don't try to get in your wood. It kills them. And then you'll go ahead and stain it. And the process of staining isn't too hard. It's pretty simple. And you can spray it if you have the right equipment, or you can brush it on. I did spraying it with not an airless sprayer, kind of like a pump up, but it worked good for what I had to do. And I'm soaping it down really good. Just making sure your wood is completely covered all the way through, everywhere. And probably by the time I get done, just make it covered completely, everywhere. And by the time I get done using a brush on it, we'll be ready to go ahead and wash this thing down again. You can see how it looks all clear, real shiny. And the goal is to keep putting this stuff on so it doesn't dry. You don't want it to dry on your logs. Everything that, another thing you got to worry with your logs is, remember, water, stain. So your soaps, start, that's why they tell you to start from the bottom when you're cleaning and work your way up, because you can drip your, you'll stain your logs of the cleaner. But with this house is so new and the logs aren't dirty and they're not moldy, you can see they look really good. All we're trying to do is just keep it wet, which we are now. We're done. I'm done doing that. And then I'm going to grab the brush and just start scrubbing it. And it don't have to be a hard scrub. You're just trying to make sure if there's anything stuck on there, you clean it up, work it really good. Now, like if we were on my roof, I've got my awnings up there and stuff. If I was up there, and then I would actually be adding more of the cleaner to it. And because that has more debris, the logs change color a lot more on the roof. They, as I'm out here washing the house, there is a deer. I can't see it right. He is. Right there. You see him walking up. He's 40 feet away from me. I know what she wants. She wants me to feed her, get her some corn. But I can't do it right now. I'm gonna do the house. But right now the house is scrubbed all the way through. It is completely scrubbed, soaped up, and I need to go ahead and get the pressure washer going and get that off the house. So let's go ahead and get that done. I'll be right back. Rolling right off. Like right now, I'm doing it one more time, rinsing it. I've already been back down there and back. We're good, we're done. Now, all that working I'm doing, and you're hearing that, and there's a deer. They are not scared of us at all. When the workers are here building a house, they're on this property. They are not scared of nobody here. Nobody hunts them. They're just left to roam around. They're there if we need food. We got them. Right now they're looking really pretty, and that's fine with us. Another thing I do want to show you is this is the log wash. Now, I'm not sponsored by anybody on this. This is just what I use, and have always used this except for one time. This just says log wash, but this is the component. It's Permachinking. This is their log wash. It's also, I think, if you double the strength, you can use it as a stripper that will strip the stain off your home. And that's when you want to get closer with your pressure washer, but not that machine. That machine will really tear some stuff up if you're not careful. I know what I'm doing with it. I've done it a lot of times. I've owned log homes for 30 years, so I've used them. The plug-in electric ones, the cheapies are pretty good. They're not that bad, but you still don't want to get right down on their log, you know, right here and get after it, because you will just tear that wood up, and when it's dry, it'll be like your whole outside of your house is fur. You can't stain when you like that. You can't stain over that. You actually have to sand the whole house down to get to a smooth wood. Like, not clear what you're seeing here because it's all wet, but it has to be a smooth. So it's sealed, so when you stain it, the stain goes in, locks in. And when you put the clear on there, the clear will gets locked in. You cannot have it furry. The stain that I use on the house, you do not use on cedar. This is a porous wood, and the log homes are different. So the stain, the company I've always used is Permachink. I use their stain products, log washes, and I can tell you right now that in certain places that the clear needs to be done more, and how I can tell is you can see the coloration in the wood a little bit coming through. Also, there is no bubbling. It'd be like water drops on your stain. So the whole house does need it. You can see right here how it's dark. That will have to dry out real good before I put a clear over it. So that's just maintenance of your log home. If you own a log home, that's what you got to do, maintain it. You own a sports car, you got to maintain it. Log home's the same thing. You just don't put them up and don't do nothing with it. It won't last. And that's what happened with my last home when I bought it. That's what it was like. And I bought it really cheap, and I cleaned up on it when I was done. But it's hard work. It's beautiful. And we're about done for today for this. But I got this washed today. Another thing I'll be doing is, I noticed, you see that gap that's right there? There's a sealer between there. But on that particular joint, I can put a flashlight, a real dark, I can see from the outside, or if I'm inside I can see out a bright light. So every one of those cracks. Now the house is it was built in 2015. So every one of those joints, I've got joints down there, right there. Every one of those, I'm going to go through before I probably clear it, which will only take me a couple hours. I'll tape off the wood, that blue tape that you for painting, and then I'll just push in that sealer, pull the tape off, and clean it up. Every one of these I'm going to redo, just because I seen that other one. Logs expand, contract all the time. When you own a log home, your doors fit differently come wintertime versus summertime. They don't care how dry your home is, it moves, and that's just it. When you first move in, you'll sit in here and you hear a big crack, and you're like, what was that? Well, that's just log moving. Now it's settling. You got to set. You know, I mean, we could have settlization. Everything could settle maybe an inch in its lifetime. I'm talking about the woods would squash down. But that's the features, the characteristics of a log home. They're beautiful. I don't mind spending my time maintaining them. I'm going to go over here and show you something. When the builder was putting up the log home, that big knot right there, he come up to me Actually, I had that knot, then I found that board that had that right there, and also imperfection, you would say. It's just a knot, nothing big. But the guy, I seen him down here, and he took the board off. He had sitting there. And I said, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm taking that away. We can put that behind a cabinet. You don't even see it. I said, no, sir. I said, that is a thing of beauty. When you stain it and you clear it, that's character. It's character, all of it. Inside my house, one day I'll do a tour inside. Inside my house, I've got a big area that's like that. And what shame is that they put kind of that behind the cabinet, one of the big cabinets in the kitchen, the big pantry I got. And I wish it wasn't there, because that's really nice. It's as characteristic of what the wood is. Anyway, all right, well, hey, this is Tony, our Cabin Woods. Appreciate you hanging around. You know, if you like what you see, subscribe, hit the little bell button, and we will here the next couple of days. Hopefully, we'll see how this wood. I can see two spots, like I said, that need to be really need to dry out a little more, because I can tell that the clear wasn't there that well. It absorbed water for sure, and so we need to let that dry before you put the clear on it. Anyway, if you like what you see, thumbs up always, just smash that button, and then also any questions, comments, send me you know, a comment, and that's great. All right.